This season of Beyond the Brand is brought to you by Leader. For more information, visit leader.co. Our next guest spent 25 years on the front lines, navigating the most intense, high-pressure situations a person can face. But he realized that the bravest thing we can do isn't just surviving the crisis. It's preparing our minds to thrive through it. He's a retired law enforcement officer, a Carnegie Medal of Honor recipient, and the author of Crisis Equals Opportunity. As the founder of Resilient Minds on the Front Lines, he is now teaching everyone from first responders to CEOs how to train the pause. Please welcome Michael Pelligrino. And Michael, you started in law enforcement at just 19 years old. After 2.5 decades in that world, what was the specific aha moment that made you realize we need to stop reacting to stress and start training for resilience?
Well, there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of trauma that happened over that 2.5 decades as well, too. So, the suffering in silence and being able not to say it's okay not to be okay. And that's the goal right now is to make sure that everybody is not suffering in silence and that everybody understands it's okay not to be okay and ask for that help.
At what point in your life did that come to you, that it was okay to not be okay?
Well, it wasn't to the end of my career almost because of the stigma of the job. And, if you did ask for help, it was a sign of weakness. It wasn't a sign of strength. Where now I think that's starting to shift a little bit. And, no matter what the situation, it's always better to ask for that help and get that help because right now we're dealing with a lot of stuff, not only on the front lines, but in LIFE, in life. And it's coming to a theater near you if it's not at your doorstep already. So understanding how we can navigate life and how we can get the help to make sure that we stop the spiral a lot quicker.
You often say when you change your mind, you change your life. How did that philosophy keep you grounded during your years in patrol and investigations?
Well, I never really went by that. It wasn't until almost the end of my career where I realized once you change one thing in your life, you're going to change your life forever. And you can change your address, you can change your zip code, you can change everything about you. But if you don't change your mind, if you don't change those thoughts, it will take you down a downward spiral, because a lot of our thoughts are negative. And when we go down those negative thoughts, we start talking to ourselves and in a negative way. And those, not only those thoughts, but thinking about how we would respond to those thoughts. And we wouldn't talk to anybody else the way we talk to ourselves, because usually it's not in a very good way.
Yeah, we're normally pretty hard on ourselves, aren't we? The
Yes,
title
we
of your
are.
book is Crisis Equals Opportunity. Tell us a little bit about your book.
Well, crisis equals opportunity. It's about reframing. It's being able to take that crisis and look for the opportunities. One of the things that I love to say, and a lot of people in our organization, it's what can I learn from this? That's what the growth mindset's going to say, not why is this happening to me. So thinking about those things and being able to reframe it is what it is to it is what I make it. It's being able to come into that growth mindset, being able to change those crises and opportunities, and becoming self-aware. Because when you're able to become self-aware, you're able to self-manage, to be able to self-improve as well, too.
When you're in the middle of that storm, though, how can you see that growth? Do you have some tips or tricks for our viewers?
Well, it's being able to first catch yourself. If you don't catch yourself, nothing's going to happen after that. So I like to say, if you can catch yourself catching yourself, and the quicker that you can do that, and the quicker that you can get from your emotional part of your brain into your prefrontal cortex, where all your logic is, it's gonna change up a little bit. So for me, I know I need to catch myself first. And then I use one of the tools that we facilitate in the class. And for me, that's gratitude. I need to be able to, I've made that a part of my life where every morning I get up and say my 3 gratitudes and I write them down so that I can look at them again. So if I'm going down that spiral and I'm being able to catch myself that much quicker, I want to go into what's positive. How can I interrupt that thought process, interrupt that OODA loop? Because when we do get in our own minds, we do get in our own way. And when we get in our own way, that becomes problematic because now it's going to keep us down that dark path even that much longer.
You have a fascinating framework, rather, called Mental CPR, catch, pause, reframe. Can you explain that?
Yes, that's something that we got trademarked, and we're really happy and we're real excited about that because we just landed a TED Talk on that as well too. So I'm super excited about that. I'm going to be doing that early fall. Mental CPR, catch, pause, and reframe. So being able to catch yourself is the first part of that, and when you can catch yourself and you can hit that pause button just for a second and get into that part of your brain where your logical part of your brain is, and being able to, you're going to save so many relationships, you're going to save opportunities, you're going to save yourself from yourself if you can hit that pause button for a second. Think about when we get into that emotional part of our brain and we start typing that text message, or we go on the keyboard and we start sending that email that we know is going to make us feel good for that split second, but probably 10 minutes later is going to be very destructive. And if we can think about that and hit that pause button, it's going to be able to reframe that negative into a positive by being able to shift that thought and being able to come off that downward spiral, come out of that emotional part of our brain and become more emotionally intelligent.
If there is one thing you could have told your 19-year-old self when you first got into law enforcement, what would it have been?
Wow, that is a very loaded, great question, and wasn't prepared for that one. But I'm going to say, I'm going to say, being able to have people or have things in my life that were outside the job, that were outside law enforcement, that I was able to utilize in a more positive way. Because again, those negative thoughts, I would say the storm is only going to last so long, and that storm will end. And after that storm will be sunny skies. And then the storm will happen again. But each storm after that, if you could just learn to be able to catch yourself that much quicker, I think I would have probably saved myself from myself a lot quicker if I could have done that.
Not knowing that question, that was probably a good thing, right? Because it really put you on the spot. You did great with it.
I was hoping to. I was hoping you weren't going to throw me a curveball or anything, but
hey, not a curveball, but something you need to think about.
It really is. It really is, and I guess that's a question that I ask myself a lot. And
I think it's a question that a lot of us ask ourselves. This is not something that is just limited to people in law enforcement. This can help everyone, correct?
Well, that's exactly why we broadened it out so much. Now it doesn't matter. Catch, pause, and reframe. It doesn't matter any of the lessons that we facilitate. It's for everyone, and everyone is going to go through something in their life, whether it's finances, whether it's health, whether it's relationships, whatever it may be, divorce, death, whatever it is. People are going to go through something, and it's whether you're in the boardrooms or you're on the streets or you're in the military, whatever. It's going to help everyone, and that's why the message is so important. The message is to be able to save ourselves from ourselves.
Michael, where can folks find out more information about you, what you're doing, even your TED Talk coming up?
Yes, we have resilientminds.us. That's resilientminds.us. That's our company website. My personal website is crisisequalsopportunity.us, all spelled out. So that's crisisequalsopportunity.us, all spelled out. So they can learn a little bit more about that. It's going to probably be heard here first about the TED Talk because it was just landed not too long ago. And that was after 142 applications. It was probably one of the hardest things I've ever done is to land that TED Talk. And I'm hoping, praying that that TED Talk, once it's completed and once it's uploaded to the TED website, we'll be able to help. I say if it can help one person, it's going to do its job. But if it can help many more, then that's the hope for it.
Well, congratulations on landing that TED Talk. Don't forget, you can also pick up Michael's book. Michael Pelligrino, founder of Resilient Minds. Thanks, Michael.
Thank you so much.
And we'll be back with more BizTV right after this.